Turning now to our other top story this evening, could Blacksburg town culture be changing?
That's what leaders and locals are concerned about as the effects of increased enrollment at Virginia Tech continue. 10 News reporter Tommy Lopez has more on one 6-story apartment complex that would change the face of North Main Street.
So Tommy, what are neighbors and town leaders saying today?
They have questions about how this will be done and what the effects may be. We're here near an already busy intersection down at that light, North Main and Progress Streets, and it may be getting busier. The plans call for a large apartment complex down this block. It is just one of the signs of the continued growth here in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech says it's a good problem to have. More students choosing to go here than they expected. One solution is more housing. The latest project from an outside company calls for a 6-story, 800-plus person complex with commercial space and a parking garage within walking distance of campus. The company will try to buy out land from these houses and businesses. One city employee says the size is remarkable for a small town. It will be within feet of Patrick Adams' house.
It goes from being the sophisticated little mountain town that it is to pretty urban. I'll have a nice view of everyone looking right into my backyard.
He's worried about noise increasing.
And it's nice. It's quiet. It's not going to be quiet anymore.
The town still has to approve the plans. There's space to accommodate about 3,000 more people in already approved housing projects in Blacksburg, says Councilman John Bush.
It's big. And to me, scale and context matter. There's nothing that big anywhere around it.
But he's understanding of Tech's enrollment increase.
Folks are just concerned about that. You know, how does that affect the town? How does that affect our streets? How does that affect our neighborhoods? Can the town handle that kind of large growth infrastructure-wise?
So you think those questions are unanswered right now?
We're trying to answer them.
Bush also makes the point that instead of residential areas, if there were more businesses down this block, it would help the tax base. Live in Blacksburg, I'm Tommy Lopez, 10 News, working for you.